Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So for 2026, want to keep track of my reading more on video form, and also tell you guys what I plan to read in the next month or two or so. Um, I also plan to do another video about a reading project that I want to engage in, and it's gonna be coming out maybe in a few days time. But for now, I just want to share with you what I've been reading and what I plan to read. So the first book that I'm about to finish already is Ballistic by Marguerite. This is part of the Grey Man series. This is the third book, I believe, and I think this is the best book so far. The stakes are higher, the relationships are more intriguing. The Grey Man doesn't seem so grey anymore. He starts to show some humanity, and I feel like this is the best book in the series so far. And I'm excited to get into more Grey Man novels this year. But yeah, I really love this series. Okay, next I've been reading Captain Corelli's Mandolin, which is by Luis de Benierres. Forgive me if I'm not pronouncing that right, but this was made into a movie starring Nicolas Cage, and it's about a Italian captain during World War II who um, falls in love with a doctor's daughter, and there's all sorts of different perspectives from a gay man, Italian gay man, who's also a soldier, the doctor himself, Dr. Yanis, and then the daughter, obviously, Pelagia. Um, this book tonally is very humorous, but it also has a lot of serious topics, and um, yeah, describes the atrocities of war and authority, and how a small romantic story would take over the story as time passes. But it's definitely not a totally unserious and humorous book. There's also a lot of serious themes as well, which I'm really enjoying. But I really enjoy the romance between Captain Corelli and Pelagia, and I'm loving it so far. The next book I'm currently reading, I'm about at book 4 now. So Echo and Narcissus. This is translated by Stephanie MacArthur, who is the first female translator in 60 years. So I think a fresh perspective on the very heavy subject matter, which is in sexual assault um, and the transformation of human beings into inanimate objects or animals. And this book is all about the metamorphosis of all sorts of people and things into different things and objects. Uh, it discusses how the gods play with authority and their power, especially Juno or Zeus, more commonly known. This is written by Ovid, who was exiled to an island during the reign of Augustus or Octavian. And yeah, I read Dante's Inferno last year, and I gotta say, I think I was quite unprepared for how stylized it's gonna be, and how out of the loop I was from how Dante wrote. So I was expecting the same for this, but unexpectedly I found myself being more familiar, and um, part of that was because of the notes behind. I think Stephanie MacArthur provided some very good notes and a glossary to refer to. I think that was very helpful to understand what was going on, who the characters were, and how they, what the relationships were, and stuff like that. And I really love this so far. I'm planning on giving Dante's Divine Comedy, the whole trilogy, a try again. I think back then I was kind of rushing it, so I'm gonna try to give it a slower read, just like how I'm doing it for Metamorphoses for Ovid. So those are the 3 books that I'm reading right now, and these are the books that I'm planning to get to this month. Okay, so I've been planning to get to The Pillars of the Earth for quite some time now. I have the second book, which is The Column of Fire, if I'm not wrong. But this is a historical fiction, and it's a trilogy with a prequel and sequel. But it's recommended to start with the first book by publication order. So the first book is Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett. I've seen many people talk about this, so I want to start reading this as well. Okay, next is a book kind of left field for me because I've never heard of the author nor the subject matter before. It's Mr. Lear by Jenny Aglo or Uglo, A Life of Art and Nonsense. From what I read online, Mr. Lear is Edward Lear, who was a nonsensical artist slash a poet, and he was well known for making a a style of poetry, if I'm not wrong. So what really intrigued me was the cover, of course. It's a printed cover, and it's filled with many illustrations. And from what I've seen online, the reviews are very good. And because Edward Lear is a illustrator as well, you get to see a lot of his illustrations. And though I'm not familiar with both the subject matter and the biography, um, I've seen a lot of very good reviews online, and I'm excited to get to it and find out if like this is the kind of um, books that I would like to read in the near future as well. So Mr. Lear by Jenny Uglo. Next is a book that has been in my TBR for the longest time. Is Dominion by Tom Holland. How the Christian Revolution remade the world. Now, Tom Holland will show up 2 more times in his book. Not only because I feel like he's a very entertaining author, but he has a lot of books that he has translated or written that I'm very interested in. This is a book recommended by Steve Donahue quite some time ago, but I'm only now giving it a try since I saw it at the library. So as you can see from the subtitle, it's all about the rise of Christianity and how it dominated the Western world specifically, and how it affects politics and authority and religion worldwide. So yeah, it's a nice thick book on it. So I'm excited to get to it. Okay, next is another book by translated by Tom Holland. It's Suetonius, the 12 Lives of Caesar, of the Caesars. From what I understand, Suetonius is kind of like a news columnist, gossip columnist in the Roman times. So what I can expect, I hopefully can expect is going to be very entertaining and gripping in terms of its content. I'm not too sure about its historical accuracies, but I'm going to take it with a grain of salt and do my research on the way. But from what I understand, this is a very essential book if you want to get into Roman history, which I'm trying to get to this year. So yeah, this is Suetonius, the 12 Caesars by Tom Holland. Okay, next, after I read 1984, I've been very interested in George Orwell as a whole, but I haven't really gotten into his other books besides Animal Farm. From what I've read online and from some booktube videos, I understand that his non-fiction is marginally better than his fiction. So I wanted to give it a try with George Orwell's essays. I've been meaning to get his complete essays, but it's been very hard to find in the library or in my bookshop. So I started with the Penguin edition for his essays. So I'm trying to see what kind of subjects he talks about, and this is a good selection from what I read online. So George Orwell's essays. Okay, next is the first volume of Robert A. Carroll's biography of Lyndon Johnson, who was the president which was in charge of the Vietnam War, and a lot of I'm not really too sure, that's why I'm going to read this book. But from what I understand, Lyndon Johnson, I don't really see him get much criticism online, not as much as I do for other controversial figures like Richard Nixon or some other presidents. But I'm interested to see like what the views were on Lyndon Johnson as a president during that time, during the Vietnam War especially, and seeing how the public's perception of him changed over time and how it was initially. But yeah, this is the first volume, as I said, The Path to Power. I also want to get to obviously the second book, which is The Years of Lyndon Johnson, and the third one is The Master of the Senate. But we'll see how it goes. This is a pretty big book, and for what I've researched online, this is the book to read as a 1-volume biography, I think. So yeah, this is my continued reading project to read a biography of every US president. So I think this is my fourth or fifth. I've so far read Jimmy Carter's one, Abraham Lincoln's, and Grant's. So this is my fourth one. Okay, last but not least, I have another Tom Holland book, and this is the third book in his Roman history trilogy, which is War and Peace in Rome's Age by Pax by Tom Holland. I read Rubicon and the Dynasty, which is first and second book in the series respectively. So this is about the reign from after Nero, who is after the death of the Caesar line, up to Hadrian, who I've heard much about. I've heard much about Hadrian, especially the Confessions of Hadrian, which is about it's a fiction book about Hadrian and his relationship with his servant, if I'm not wrong. So not only that, I want to learn more about the ruling of Rome, and especially after the Caesarian line. So I think this is a good entryway into subsequent readings into Roman history. So that is all that I have planned for the coming months or so, and I'll be back with a few more videos in the coming week. But thank you, BookTube.